Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for iPad today is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com.
Coming up, Apple doesn't always get it right. We have some alternatives that are not Apple-made apps.
Plus, have you seen the new iPad Air commercial?
I have.
What's with that?
Oh.
And messaging apps that are really, really, really popular.
All that and a night at the museum, but it's actually going to be now.
It's a morning.
Yeah, it's not
the
nighttime.
museum.
We're not at a museum. On iPad today.
iPad Today is brought to you by 99 Designs, the world's largest graphic design marketplace. 99 Designs connects businesses seeking quality, affordable designs with a community of more than 225,000 graphic designers. Visit 99designs.com/iPad today to receive a free Power Pack upgrade valued at $99. Every time I see that, by the way, welcome to iPad Today.
Welcome.
Our new morning
Good to
edition.
see ya. We are, well, so I did this with Chad last week, which was a little bit odd because it was a new time and it was also Chad.
It was Bizarro iPad Today.
It was Bizarro iPad Today. It was a great show. And, you know, Chad brought the thunder, but it felt like it wasn't really real yet. So now we're at our new time.
I bring the lightning.
Yeah.
He brings the thunder.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, so we're
Thunderous
doing
Chad.
11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, 1900 UTC on Mondays.
Yeah.
See, I memorized that.
Which is, I would like, it's the beginning of my week.
It's the first show of my week, too.
Well, but you've got your radio show over the weekend, but that's a little different.
It's still the first. Monday's Monday.
Yeah.
And I thought at first, is it going to be hard to get up Monday morning and go to work? And no, I love this show, so it's a good way to start the week.
I'm glad to hear it.
It's like if I were starting this show with those other shows.
Well, you know, those other shows are.
I say that to all the shows. Those other shows.
Yeah.
It's like
I
a
don't
comedian
feel
who
the
says,
way about those shows the way I feel about you.
it's like a comedian who says, that audience last night, those other shows.
You know, I was at a comedy club over the weekend.
I saw that, and you saw,
Janine Garofalo.
and you said, I've traveled back in time.
Yeah, I felt a little bit like that because she's not really, you know.
She's funny, though.
Yeah, she is.
Did you laugh?
Very much.
Did you howl?
It was a really fun time.
Did you stomp your feet?
I love a good comedy show. It wasn't that crazy.
Do you have the kind of laugh that if somebody heard the soundtrack, they would recognize Sarah Lane in the audience? There's some people who have such unique, distinctive, may I say, annoying laughs that you can hear them.
I don't think so.
No?
I'm
honk
probably not
or
the right
howl?
person to ask,
Yeah.
actually. I don't think I'm not howling in the audience.
My brother-in-law's laugh, and actually his wife's laugh too, the two of them, is so bad that his teenage daughter said, "You may not come to my play."
Oh.
Because he goes, ah! He honks.
There is.
It's not his fault.
There's a type of laugh that
It's
you
not
think.
his fault.
Yeah, right. It's not your fault, but if you're actually taking the attention away.
Nature or nurture, you think? Is it genetic or is it learned?
I don't know.
How did we get off on this? I don't know.
I had comedy clubs.
That's right. And you enjoyed it?
I enjoyed it.
I like
do.
comedy. It's funny.
I feel like it's always, even if the comedian is not like killing it on every single joke, it's like, it's always just more fun than you think it's going to be. Because you think it's going to be kind of corny.
Right.
But then the experience itself of people who pay to sit in a kind of a nightclub
Exactly.
and be entertained is just fun to me. And I'm glad that there are people who have the bravery to do things like that, because it's like my worst nightmare.
You mean to get up on stage?
Oh, yeah.
Not to be in the audience.
No.
Yeah, to
Being
get up
in
on
the
stage
audience
is
is
tough.
easy. Although I don't want to
know
sit
how
in the
somebody
front
does
because
that.
I don't want to get picked on.
You will. You'll get picked on.
Yeah, no, I sit in the
I
shadows.
agree with you. I think being in a room with 30 people who are there because they want to have a good time, how could that be bad?
Right. You come in with this expectation of like,
Right.
yay, we're ready to laugh.
Yeah.
It's just fun.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with anything that we're going to talk about on the show today.
Wait a minute,
but-
let's figure it out.
Yeah,
So
how do we-
Apple
how do
is
we
like
get there
Apple's like
from there to
Robin
here?
Williams, like Steve Martin, like the creme de la creme. But
True.
sometimes even the best will tell a joke that's not great.
Mm-hmm.
And along comes a Judy Tenuta or a Janine Garofalo and knocks it out of the park. We're talking about the Janine Garofalo of apps.
Yeah, okay, you did that pretty well. the idea is
was
that
quite a stretch.
it was a stretch, but that's fine. We're used to that.
Apps that do it better.
Apps that do it better than what Apple already pre-installs or wants to sell you in its own repertoire. And I think a lot of you might have new iPad Airs. I know actually Mike walked in with his new iPad Air for TNT this morning.
Yeah,
he's very excited
a big
about
iPad
it.
guy.
Yeah. So if you've got a new piece of hardware, or you're just looking for some other alternatives, I think often. What are you doing?
Miss Lane, I got one.
Okay, go for it.
Everybody complains to me about iOS 7's calendar.
Yeah.
Because you can't turn it sideways.
Even though everybody complained about the old one too, they're not happy with the new iOS 7 version either.
They didn't like the old one because it was what we call, I hate to use this word, but I'm going to have to, skeuomorphic. It had paper and leather, and it just was real world. So in the new world of Johnny Ive, the Apple primo designer, everything's digital native, nothing looks like the real world. So the calendar app on the iPad and iOS 7 is flat.
Yes.
Digital.
Correct.
And it's missing, I think, a pretty key feature for the iPad. Not so much for the iPhone, but for the iPad. You can't turn it sideways.
So let's go.
Show them.
I'm going to try to.
Show the people.
I was having a hard time getting out of my my app cap for later.
Show the people.
Where's my calendar? Here it is.
So flat.
Yeah, okay, so this is all the stuff here, and...
Oh, I guess you can, but it's the same. There's no like,
well, I mean, what do you want from me?
well, I'll show you.
All right.
I'll tell you what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
I'll tell you
I
what
really,
you want.
really, really want
Get
a
with
fantastic
my
cow.
friends.
Now, this is a iPhone app, unfortunately, but they told me that they are very quickly doing the iPad app. So Fantastical is what you want. Happy birthday, Sly Ferret. Fantastical is a calendar that in portrait mode looks like a calendar. And I've shown you this before. You slide it up and down, you can see abbreviated views. But when you turn it sideways, it looks like a little bit better. You get more of the view that you're looking for. And I just think this, even though this is an iPhone app, this is, in my opinion, exactly what you're talking about. A better calendar app than Apple's calendar app.
You know, I use Fantastical on my iPhone.
Yeah.
And what I like about it is, and it's not even necessarily, and I'll talk about another alternative in a second, it's not even necessarily the best looking calendar as far as I'm concerned, Fantastical. It's not that it's bad, but it's not as if I'm like, wow, it just looks so great. But Fantastical does a very good job of sort of parsing what you mean when you add a new event. So if I say dinner with Leo tomorrow, 7 p.m., it'll be like, oh, okay, that goes on January 14th. You know, the person that's, the other meeting participant is Leo.
It parses it.
7 p.m. Yeah, so you can kind of almost write your event out in natural language, and then it categorizes it for you, and it does a good job.
I love that.
The native calendar doesn't do that,
Silly.
even for the time of day.
It should.
I know.
Because it knows. You said the word lunch.
Yeah.
You said the name Leo Laporte.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry. You said the word dinner. Oh, man, now we're moving up. You said the time. You said the date. It should do the.
I think by default it'll say, if you say dinner with somebody, it'll go into 8 p.m. or something like that.
That's very French of it.
Well, that might be something that you can change in the settings. I don't think 8 p.m. is too late to eat.
That's very French.
I mean, what do you know, like early bird special, like 5:30?
If it said 5, that would be America. It would be supper, not dinner. If it said 7, that would be Great Britain. That would be dinner. If it said 8, that would be France. That would be, what is it, dîner? What do you say? Super? And if it said 10, we'd be in Barcelona, and we'd be in a nightclub filled with foam by 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Well, cool.
And I think the calendar should know where you are and give you a dinner time that's appropriate to your geographic location. Forget how you comma things. The most important stuff is what time dinner is.
Well, all right.
I'm sorry, I'm just saying.
You seem to be very, oh, come on.
Early bird dinner, do not knock it. 4:30, Denny's, fabulous menu, all you can eat.
4:30 is not dinner. 4:30 is late lunch.
Wait till you're as old as I am.
Come on. I don't like the idea of eating when it's not.
When do you eat dinner?
When I'm hungry.
See,
I always
if
eat.
you're by yourself, it doesn't matter. Then you
just eat when you feel like it.
As you get hungry. But if you plan a dinner, I think, to me, 7 is correct.
I think that's fair.
8 is a little late.
I think on a weeknight, 8 might be asking a lot of somebody.
Especially if I have to be here at 11 the next morning.
Well, because yeah, you figure like if it's
exhausted.
leisurely, then you're not home till 10, and then it's like, oh, you got to go to bed right away, and life is so
Anyway,
hard.
so you said you have something better. Is you have because I'm ready for an iPad native calendar. I'm ready.
So it's interesting for whatever reason, because I'm signed into my Twit account in my Google Apps on my iPad and not my personal calendar. This already looks totally crazy because this is just
You're a busy girl.
Well, this is a Twit calendar, so
Right.
not all of this
It's all the
actually
shows.
applies to me.
Yeah.
However, this is Sunrise calendar.
Oh, I've been interested. Tell me about this. I've heard about this.
Sunrise calendar is great because it is a hybrid of calendar and actually weather as well.
I think this is better than mine.
Well, it's not that it's better. It's
You
just
win.
it's a more of a it's just more of a hybrid product. Now, this has been an iPhone app for a while, but we haven't really talked about it too much on iPad today because again, we like
iPad-
things to be
iPhone,
native
yeah.
as much as possible. So, if I go ahead and go into let me see, where would I have entered? You know, I'm just going to add a new event because it'll be the best way to show you this. Access to your contacts, that's fine. So if I say okay, lunch with Leo.
So it knows. It does that.
Well, it doesn't do it as well as the Fantastical version, in my opinion. But I said lunch, and it says, oh, okay, probably at noon, right? That's a default. But I can then say, okay, who are the people that I would like to add? You know, so Leo and
Man, we're having lunch and dinner. I am.
yeah.
I'm living large.
Yeah, you are. Just bring your wallet, and then
Oh, I'm buying.
and then you
Is there a place for that?
you have a location here. Now I can
My
say
Venmo address.
Petaluma. Okay,
Petaluma.
we'll just go ahead and say that.
Petaluma.
Time zone, people. Here's where I want it on my personal calendar. You can add an alert for yourself. You've got notes for this particular calendar event. So what happens is, okay, so this is for Monday, right? So if I've added this, send invitation to Leo. No, you get a nice invitation, which is which works for everybody. Now, where did my lunch with Leo go? Is it today?
So you use do you use this on your iPhone as well?
I use Fantastical
Do you prefer
on my
Fantastical
iPhone.
on the iPhone and Sunrise on your iPad?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the reason is only really because Fantastical isn't on the iPad yet.
Right.
And Sunrise for iPad is brand new, by the way. It just came out a couple of days ago. So I was
That's
like,
why
oh,
I was
cool.
really intrigued by it.
Yeah, this is a better option.
All right.
What's neat is that, okay, so I've got invitations. Now wait, where is, oh, I see. Because I didn't give it a specific address. I just gave it on a street. But so you've got all of these. So as you saw just then on Sunrise, I had given an address. Now Sunrise works with Google Maps nicely to go ahead and open up this event using the Maps app as well. And you can say, all right, well, we're all done. We're ready. Okay, we're back into Sunrise, and that's fine too. I like it. It's a nice app. You can hook it up to Facebook, obviously Google account, iCloud as well, which is not only good for just contacts, but stuff that you want to save. You have a variety of notifications, and preferences are, yeah, you can say like, okay, for whatever reason, if you don't want to use Google Maps for directions, you've got Apple Maps or Waze. That's nice as well. And again, default calendar. This is my view of Sunrise right now. It looks crazy. I would never actually want it to be this busy, but you have a lot of options, and it's free. It's a nice alternative to the calendar. If for whatever reason the native calendar you're just like it's not working for you.
Now, I got 2 for 1.
Okay.
So, and I hate doing this because Apple just gave us the alarm clock, the clock app. We didn't even have a clock app.
Right.
So we've even done whole shows on clock apps.
Alarm clock alternatives. Right. Yeah, that was a crowd pleaser back in 2010.
Way back in the good old days. But now, I don't know, was it iOS 7? I think it was iOS 7 that gave us an alarm clock. When did they give us an alarm? Maybe iOS 6. Anyway, they gave us one.
On the iPad, yeah.
On the iPad.
I think it was iOS 7.
Yeah. And then another, okay, that's one. And then the other is weather. And there are definitely like 1,000. We've even done shows on this, 1,000 better weather apps.
True.
But I am going to combine the two into one app to rule them all.
Interesting.
How about that? It's called Living Earth. It's an oldie but goodie. It is an alarm clock app. It is a clock app. It gives you, like I'm in Cupertino right now, but I could change that obviously. I could go to Shanghai and see the weather, the time of day in Shanghai. It's pretty. You can do this. And anything you can do this. Plus you can turn on different features like, tropical cyclone Colin. We can zoom in on that, right? I could see temperatures. See, what a nice thing to wake up and see the current temperature conditions in Petaluma and in a colorful way.
Yeah, I mean, the globe view is
Isn't
awesome.
that sweet?
Well, because you can say to yourself, like, oh, it's nighttime in Shanghai right now, but there's not really a frame of reference. It's nice to see actually where that cutoff is of light and dark.
I can share it to you. I could say, Sarah, wear your sweater, and Facebook and Twitter and all of that. The colors reflect different temperatures. I can zoom in on my current location in Petaluma now, so I'm going to know what the Petaluma conditions are. No tropical storms headed our way. That's the good news. And of course, I can set the alarm, add a new alarm. I can choose music. They have a variety of different sounds. Of course, music from your iTunes library as well. How about some warm piano? Wouldn't you like to wake up to this?
Yeah, I would. Right now, I usually wake up to one of my cats barfing.
That's not available on here, but you could add it.
If it was in my
your
music
iTunes
library. Sure, yeah. I'm kidding. They don't do that very often.
Nice things. Anyway, it's a weather app and a clock app. How's about that?
I like it.
How about them apples?
It's $2.99, but I
wind,
think that's...
You want to know what the wind is like?
I would.
The humidity, max temperature, mean temperature, minimum temperature. If you're going somewhere, it's really nice to know what the maximum and minimums will be. Humidity. Is it soggy today? Is it dry? This is a fun one. I like it. And I don't know how much it is because I bought it a while ago. It's
$2.99.
$2.99. Living Earth.
You know, you mentioned humidity, and I will not dwell on this because we talked about it very recently, but Yahoo Weather is my favorite weather app.
I love Yahoo Weather.
I love it. I love it on are you enjoying this app? That's so...
Because look, that's a picture. Yes, she is.
Perhaps you'd like to write a review.
Oh, no, I hate that.
Not really.
That's a picture from downtown Petaluma from Flickr, and I love that.
Yeah. Not only does it give you a lot of information, it's just kind of nice visual information on... These are all just cities that I have saved for a variety of reasons. I just want to know what the weather's like. You mentioned Barcelona. Looks pretty nice.
Let's go.
Looks pretty nice right now. But then you've got all this, like, crazy weather. I mean, if you're like a wannabe meteorologist, this is the place to hang out. You've got the forecast, you've got a variety of details, all of the, humidity levels, UV index, dew point.
Okay, you beat me on UV index.
Look at the wind, you got a little wind.
Okay,
it's
now
just cool.
my wind's better than your wind. Well, I don't know, that map looks good though.
It's neat. It's
nabbit.
Again,
you've bested me, Lane.
Well, I haven't bested you. I just wanted to give people another option, which is Yahoo Weather, which is just it's a really nice app. I feel silly, but it's like Yahoo Weather excites me because it is like their best product right now.
You're just trying to get me in trouble right now. That's all you're trying to do.
Did
you see
who? I'm just gonna get mad at you.
Nothing. Did you see? I sent you an email to this, and it's an iPhone app, so maybe you don't want to mention it.
Well, no. Now you have to.
You said Yahoo, right?
Yeah.
That Yahoo News Digest app. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Remember the guy? He was Swiss or something, and he's 17 years old, and Yahoo bought his app for $30 million. It was a news condensing app. It would take stories.
Sumly.
Very good, yeah. Wow, you've got a memory. So Yahoo's actually, now it's an iPhone app, but Yahoo's actually taken this, since you mentioned Yahoo, and turned it into a news app that is very odd. You can only read 9 stories twice a day.
Why do they?
It's kind of weird, but it's nice presentation. Yahoo's good at this. And so here's the stories. I have 7 here. So I've read, I guess you get 7 stories. You can share them. You can actually, I'm very interested, in fact, in this story. 4 teams left. Niners win, right?
Yep.
So
it's a big one.
I can read, again, this is a synopsis using Sumly of the article. So you get the quickie version of that with it, but then look at the links to additional stuff, to people's tweets about it. I've got references. I think, I like Circa. There are a lot of Feedly. There are a lot of interesting news apps. Apple, of course, has Newsstand. But I find this another interesting app from Yahoo. They're doing stuff differently,
Harry McCracken wrote for Time a few days ago about News Digest, and he calls it the least overwhelming news source ever. Now, that might actually appeal to some people. I'm
trying to think, is that a compliment?
Well, because overwhelming
it's not overwhelming.
Yes.
Yes.
But that's also a nice way of saying maybe it's not
Well, we were talking about the
complete.
Golden Globes earlier. So the first #1 story, Golden Globes, nice big picture of the Golden Globes. You find out who the winners are. This is really what you get when you get up in the morning. This is like your news summary. Some pull quotes from the event and some nice pictures. It's summarized. And then if you want to know more, then it gives you more, and of course it'll be Yahoo content and so forth. There's a Wikipedia article. Here's a map. Here's the other references. I mean, don't you think this is kind of an interesting take on news?
Yeah. I think.
I don't know if I'm going to read it every day because it's not tech news, and that's really all I care about.
Well, it's hard for me to know if I would like it a lot, just because I end up reading so much news for our jobs here.
Right.
So
we're different though because we do read. We're different in many ways.
Yeah.
But we read many news stories. We're different, you and I. We're not like other people. But if you are you want a quick hit. All right, go ahead, beat me again.
No.
Go ahead, I don't care.
I'm actually not going news source at
thank
all.
God.
So I guess I just wanted to mention, when Chad was co-hosting with me last week, we were sort of just talking about our home screens and how neither of us actually decided to back up from a previous iPad because we wanted to start fresh with our latest iPads.
I always do that.
He has a mini that he got really recently, and then of course I have the Air that I got a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And on his home screen, he was saying, I really don't have any native Apple apps, or not very many. He's got a Google folder that he's in all the time.
Let's count. How many native apps do you have?
Well, I have a lot, actually.
You've got
I've
the
got
clock,
calendar, camera, contacts, maps, videos, notes, reminders, newsstand, iTunes.
I'll
App
show you.
Store,
I have
Safari.
FaceTime, photos,
I mean, they're almost all Apple, native
clock,
Apple.
notes, reminders, newsstand, and that's it. But of course, then I got to include the dock. But even there, I've replaced some of the Apple apps. For instance, instead of iTunes, I've got Google Play Music. I do have the App Store in the settings. Because I'm a stickler, I do not have the camera on there because one should never take a picture with one's iPad.
That's so dumb. That's just a dumb thing to say.
I agree. It's dumb to take a picture with your iPad.
No, it's dumb to tell people that they shouldn't use a feature that works perfectly well, and the camera is actually pretty good.
Because it's big, and the people behind you, it's like wearing a giant hat.
Yeah, but you don't have to hold it up like some sort of
take it like that.
Well, last night, for example, I was sitting on my couch, and both of my cats looked at me in this funny way.
Of course.
And I didn't have my phone right next to me, but I was reading on my iPad all day because I'm watching football, drinking beer. It's great. And I was like, burp, burp, burp. Took a picture, uploaded it to Instagram, got a lot of likes. So I don't know what your problem is.
It's the camera you have, not the camera you should be
That's
using.
right.
Dang it.
And I've got lots. I mean, my camera app actually I like to have alone, but my photo folder. Whoa.
Wow.
That was
Brian
awesome.
Burnett
So
gets the Transition of the Week award, and it's only Monday.
That was my iPad photo.
That's a nice picture.
Does
Is that
that-
your new apartment?
It is,
All right, let
yeah.
me examine this in great detail.
It's kind of fun.
Is it a railroad apartment, like long and thin?
Well, it sort of is, yes, but
I
it's
like
not
it.
old-fashioned.
It's beautiful.
Well, thanks. It's,
I like it.
you should see the homeless people on my corner.
Doesn't matter because
it's a
you
trade-off.
have a home.
That's
And this is it.
Thank goodness. But look at them looking at me like I was some sort of cretin who just showed up.
Really, Sarah? Game 3? Another football game, Sarah? And is that a martini in your hand or what?
It was an Anchor Steam because it was football day and I'm not a psycho.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was an iPad camera.
I've kind of come full circle on this.
Masterpiece.
Because
Good. In the last 5 minutes?
No, not recently. Remember when the iPad came out, I said, people are going to be taking pictures with this. And because it's a big viewfinder, it's really good for video. You can see the video at the real size of the video you're shooting and all of that stuff. And everybody said, no, Leo, no one will ever do that. Well, now that I'm right, I've changed my mind entirely. I want to be wrong. I'm moving
Oh, I don't think that's true.
always in the wrong way.
You want to? Okay. Well, God, it smells so weird in here today. It started out
Somebody microwaved a squash.
as Burke burnt his calzone, but it's kind of turned into this weird, it's starting to smell like a head shop now.
It smells a little like somebody put
It's
a
like-
butternut squash in there and cooked it for 3 hours.
I don't know. It's very distracting.
You know how that is? If you-
I feel
if-
like I'm,
It
you know,
is.
like somebody's got some, they're like They're burning some, what is those, like those sage things in
Punk.
bathrooms?
Yeah, we're
you know,
sage. We're
blessing
exercising
our-
the evil spirits
yeah,
that
something
were
like
here.
that. I don't know. It's crazy. I mean, do we even want to talk about Google Maps being superior to Apple Maps?
Are they?
That's a tired,
Are they?
That's a tired argument. Here's what I have found. Here's actually something that I've found that it's inexplicable to me, is that when I am in my car and I've got my iPad or my iPhone, either one would work, hooked up to my car stereo via Bluetooth. So I'm listening to music or that sort of thing. I often, type in where I'm going, and then I've got the turn-by-turn directions.
Right.
If I'm somewhere unfamiliar, for whatever reason, Apple Maps do not use audio turn-by-turn directions correctly via Bluetooth. So I can't get
that's
I can't
interesting.
get the lady to talk to me through my car speakers,
Well, that's
even if
not
it's
right.
connected via Bluetooth. Google Maps works just fine. Now, I'm not saying, I haven't been able to test it in other cars, so it might have something to do with my car.
I think it's your car.
But it's annoying.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I'm not using Apple Maps ever because I just need the Maps app. I need consistency.
Right.
So if I want turn-by-turn directions, then that's just I've made my choice.
My car has well, Sarah's correct, says Evil RC. Maybe that's normal.
Well,
Maybe
that's
it's not.
stupid.
I don't know.
I mean, come on. If you've got Bluetooth capability on your iPad.
You should play the direction. I've always heard the directions, but I use Android, but I've always heard the directions through the car. I'm listening to
not
my
using Apple
audiobook,
Maps.
audiobook. Turn left now.
Right. But that's not Apple Maps. And the thing is that Apple Maps often wants to be the default. So if you're not paying attention, if you've got multiple apps installed, then get yourself into some hot water.
They're both free. You should have both, and then
I
use
agree.
the one that works best for you.
Yeah.
I used to, I piled on Apple when Apple Maps came out and said, "Oh, this is horrible. Apple's done a terrible job." But I have to say, they've improved it a lot. It is much prettier than Google Maps, but Google Maps has advantages that Apple Maps doesn't, like Street View. When you arrive, it says, "This is what it looks like where you are right now."
Yeah.
So I would say just have both, and I even throw in. We've done a whole show on navigation and maps. I'd throw in Motion X GPS, and there are other great apps as well. Hey, can I throw in one extra app?
Yeah.
Oh, this is dedicated to Burke. It's called Microwave It HD. And what you do with it is you load an item, okay? You pick an item and microwave whatever you feel. Like, Burke, you ever wonder what happens if you microwave a light bulb?
There's metal on that.
Let's
This is
just
not
see.
going to be good.
It's lighting up. It's
Really?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
It's incandescing at 10, 9. So this is fun. So, Burke, just a suggestion. Before you put the calzone in, try a little steel wool in the microwave, and just to make sure everything's... Oh, my God! We're blowing up!
This frightens me.
This is actually Burke's calzone after 4 minutes in the...
Apparently. Yeah, I think you put it in for 30 or something. What's this called? Microwave HD? This is a real app?
Microwave It HD. It's 99
Microwave
cents.
It.
I don't recommend it. However, if you have a coworker who likes to microwave things a little longer than they should be, this might be a good gift.
Well, sometimes the weird version of me kind of wants to do something like this because...
Don't. Well, do it, but get this app instead.
It's just, yeah, exactly. It's the curiosity that, you don't actually want to do anything like that because you're going to ruin your kitchen. But I like that somebody else did it for me, so I kind of get to know.
We don't have to. You ever, light bulbs, halogen?
I once microwaved sometimes French bread, you're supposed to put it in the oven, whatever, and it comes in, it's like a bag, but it's like aluminum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I didn't think about it because I was like, I didn't want to put it in the oven. I'll just put it in the microwave real quick. And I was like, why is my microwave setting off fireworks? And then I realized, I was microwaving a metal bag. So.
And there's expansion packs.
Stop it.
For 99 cents.
If you want something extra. That's weird.
I don't see calzones.
Kind of genius in a way.
There's something for everyone on the
I was trying to
iPad.
find Microwave at HD in Google. Just, that was what I searched for. And the top result is it a good idea to microwave a hard drive?
No. Not a good
I
idea.
can answer
Anything
that
with
one
metal.
for you.
No.
I don't even have to click that link.
Not even garlic bread in a foil-wrapped container. Not even that.
Don't do that. I can tell you, it did not end well. Microwave HD. All right, well, I can't top that.
You know what I do microwave?
What?
My sponges.
Yeah, because it kills the bacteria.
Yeah. I looked it up on the internet, and they said 4 minutes, kill anything that's on that sponge.
Right. Because sponges, I mean, it's not so much that they're falling apart; it's that they get
they're
icky.
Yeah, you
But
should.
if you
I do both.
if you kill the germs.
Because microwave them kills the germs, but it doesn't get rid of any foodstuffs on there. So I put it in the dishwasher and then I microwave. That way you get best of both worlds. You can do it the other way around. Be brave, be crazy, be wild. Here's to the crazy ones.
Here's to the crazy ones. 99 cents for Microwave It HD. I don't know where you find this stuff. I mean, I've gone 4 years now doing the show and I've never heard of this app. But okay. Microwave It HD.
And by
Go
the way,
ahead and
yes.
put it in our rundown.
Scooter X, good tip. Moisten the sponges before you microwave them.
Oh, because then
Well, if they're dry, they might burst into flames.
don't do that. Or if you do, please record it and send us a video.
Yeah.
Speaking of sending us stuff, if you're ever wondering, hey, what's that app that they talked about, or I can't find it when I'm doing a search, you can always go to twit.tv/IPT, where not only are is our show notes and video versions and audio links and places to subscribe to every episode of the show, but it's also where we put all of our app links and story links and that sort of thing. Chad and I had a great show last week. If you didn't watch it, it's good stuff. Yeah, you see, there's all the links there at the bottom. And in fact, I actually showed off a game that I thought I knew how to play, and I got a lot of feedback from all of you that indeed I was playing it wrong. That's why I was so bad. So, thanks to everybody who sent feedback.
You're not a gamer, are you, Sarah?
Well, no, this game actually was my kind of game. It's just that I didn't understand. I didn't understand the rules. If you have app ideas of your own or any other correspondence that you'd like to send to us, iPadtoday@twit.tv is the way to get a hold of us. And reminder, as Leo said, that we're now recording live on Mondays, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. Start your week off with a bang, with a fiery microwave.
Jazz has another good point. If you're microwaving sponges, let it sit for 2 minutes before you eat it.
Right.
Great tip. Our show today brought to you by 99 Designs. What do you look at me like that for?
Because you made it sound like it was like, what?
You're looking at me.
The show's sponsored by 99 Designs?
I can't believe this. We used them just the other day. Did you know that for our Twit T-shirts designs?
Yeah, we've got new tees.
Our new T-shirt is great, Anthony Nielsen. Thank you. 99 Designs, though, if you have, for instance, let's say you have a great idea for a mobile app. Maybe you're even a great programmer, but do you have the design chops to compete with the best? That Microwave It, for instance, could have really used some help, some 99
it's
Designs
not the most
help.
beautiful app I've ever seen.
Well, there are 273,000 designers waiting at 99designs.com to help you make your app look great. That's many of the best apps in the world. And these designs are very affordable. So here's how it works. Whether you need a new logo, a mobile app, a business card, a T-shirt, a menu for your business, a landing page for your Facebook, get to 99designs.com and set up a design contest. What'll happen is designers will come, they'll look at your contest, they'll submit ideas, you can work back and forth, pick the designer you want, and then pay the pre-negotiated price. And very affordable, too. Our app design starts as low as, what is that, $4.99? Yeah. But graphic designs as low as $1.99. And when you go to 99designs.com/iPad today, we're going to give you a $99 power pack of services, absolutely free. Power Pack gives you more designer time and attention. 99 Designs will bold, highlight, and feature your design product in their marketplace, or project, I should say, in their marketplace, and you'll get nearly twice as many designs. And that's for free. And it's just a way of thanking you for letting them know that you heard about it on this show. 99designs.com/iPad today. We love 99 Designs. We use it, and we suggest you do too. 99designs.com. It's 99designs.com.
99 Designs. So we'll talk about that iPad commercial in a second.
Oh, yeah.
But I feel like, or maybe we should talk about it first in a way, because then it'll help the next story make more sense.
It's
because
also,
I'm going to talk about messaging apps
it's
being the big hit.
Pro, because it features a number of people using their iPads to take pictures. Should we watch the ad?
Can we? Can we watch
can.
the ad?
I don't think Apple's going to complain if we run an iPad ad in our show.
I guess you're right. Well, you never know with YouTube.
Well, listen, and the thing is not just the images. The images are actually quite beautiful.
Yeah.
It's the strange narration. And it took me, I said, this is Robin Williams, but he sounds like he's in a tube. And it's from Dead Poets Society.
We don't read and write poetry because it's cute. We read and write poetry because
Isn't it funny how
of the human race.
Once you know it's Robin Williams, it sounds just like him, but it took me a couple like somebody had to say
They
that
don't
on
say
Twitter
it.
before I
Yeah, they don't tell you.
got it right.
The images in this are stunning, and they show iPads being used in a lot of great ways. And I don't have any complaint about that. But the narration, like this, for instance, here's a guy using an iPad for a movie camera. Come on.
Well, what do you? What?
I'm not. That's a sideline. I'm just saying the narration is so bizarre.
Well, it's very heavy-handed, you know.
I think this is Tim Cook's attempt to do Here's to the Crazy Ones,
Questions of these recurring,
but it doesn't work.
of the endless train.
And I got to think, you know, it ran on the NFL playoffs yesterday.
Yeah, that's what. It was funny because it's you've got all these. My tech nerd friends who pretend to hate sports, and then they're all excited
tweeting
about
about it, yeah.
Yeah.
Exists and identity.
It's just
The powerful play goes
I mean,
on.
we're not curing cancer here.
It feels like a fever dream, frankly. Feels like I took some strange. I took the brown acid.
It frightens me a little
Yeah.
bit. Like
What's
that,
this
like,
about?
why is he there?
What's that about?
I have nightmares about people like that.
Reverse beat.
Not that his, I know he's.
And then a very odd Walt Whitman quote, which is again from Dead Poets. This is all. That whole speech is just from Dead Poets Society.
Right. Yeah.
I would have spent the extra money to bring Robin in to re-record it for one thing. Because it sounds like, it's bad quality audio.
I didn't.
You can barely understand it.
That part of it didn't bother me. What bothered me, nothing actually bothered me about the commercial. I just think it's strange.
Yeah, I don't get it.
It kind of is like ominous somehow. When I watch it, I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to be a storm
It
chaser.
does. Yeah, it makes you feel like...
Like,
It doesn't make you feel good. Like the Christmas ad made you feel good, right?
Yeah.
The emo kid playing with his phone the whole time, and it turns out he's making a great movie.
Yeah.
That was such a great feel-good ad.
right.
This ad makes you feel creepy.
A little bit.
I'm
and
with
maybe,
you.
Maybe it's just taking itself too seriously. Dead Poets
I feel
Society.
like, I really feel like it's Tim Cook or somebody at Apple saying, remember Here's the Crazy Ones? What a great ad that was. That was Steve Jobs' return to Apple, where he really said, this is the tone of the company. And it is perhaps one of the greatest ads of all time. And Apple's famous for this. I mean, the 1984 ad, which this sounds a little bit like.
Yeah.
So I think somebody in their head, maybe Apple's ad agency, maybe somebody at Apple, conflated Here's to the Crazy Ones and the 1994 ad and came up with this. I don't know. We shouldn't belabor it, but first of all, it's very long. Feels long, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it feels long.
And it's kind of creepy.
It's just it's a little bit of, the point is, hey, look at all the cool places people are using iPads, right? That's the point. But you don't really even notice that because it's like, ooh, they're on the edge of a waterfall. And
Right.
and
I think the
ooh.
images are cool.
Yeah, it's well done. I just don't.
Somebody in the chat room said, and this is kind of true too, Jimbo Lodisk says this ad makes you feel like you're not living up to the potential of your iPad. Gee, I just use it to play Angry Birds.
So that actually brings
Should be
us to
storm chasing.
this story about messaging app usage. If you look at Flurry Analytics, new data that was released, this is all like App Store based. Messaging app usage grew 203% in 2013. Now, there were a lot of other categories of apps that also experienced growth, but not that much growth. Now, then again, there are apps like Snapchat, which whether you use it or not is something that a year ago I didn't even have access to. So yeah, just the more existence of messaging apps will help bring that number up. But it kind of goes to show you, of mobile app use, which the iPad is counted as, messaging and social, far and away what people are doing the most. Utilities productivity is up there too. App usage overall, that's sort of its own number. And you've got music and media and that sort of thing. But really, people just kind of want to chat with their friends.
That's really interesting.
That's a big part of the tablet revolution.
I should point out that that's measuring growth, not use. So
True.
gaming might be
True.
80% use, but it only grew 66% because people have been gaming for a while. Their
Right.
growth has slowed down. So what that's saying is the biggest growth category is messaging, and I'd agree with that. And that's partly Snapchat, WhatsApp, and Apple's own messages, right? And iPad is a great messaging tool, a great way to communicate with people.
Yeah.
Facebook added their messenger, and so this has been a big growth time, I think. So I'd like to see that compared to what people use their iPad for.
Right.
And I bet messaging is not the number one thing people use their iPad for. It's just the fastest growing.
I think it's we all want to communicate with each other, and there are more options than ever, certainly on our iPads. And I would say,
What's your favorite? What's the one you use
What's my favorite messaging app?
Yeah, I mean, is there going to be one that's going to win? Remember, it was ICQ, and then it was AIM, and ICQ kind of took a back seat.
Yeah.
And then AIM kind of got replaced by two things: text messaging, which everybody uses now,
Yeah.
and that's kind of agnostic, and Facebook messaging, I think, really kind of.
Facebook messages, I think actually work really well. The new mobile Facebook Messenger is really nice.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, you have to, obviously, you're using Facebook, so some people are just not going to be into that. But I actually I love that app. But no, I mostly use iMessage. But the thing is it
Which
is kind
messages
of agnostic.
now.
Yeah,
That's
because
confusing.
it's,
They changed the name.
It's
messages.
texting, but it's also
It's both.
if you connect it to a
Right.
email address that, you know, maybe it's like saralane@gmail type of a thing, then I can use that, and there's more to it. And then if I use messages on in OS 10, then I can actually add my AIM account, which is still, I have a lot of people that I'm connected to via AOL Instant Messenger, so that's not going away either. But I mean, I love Snapchat. I use Snapchat 400 times a day, probably to the chagrin of many of my friends.
You know what I like and I want to use, but I can't, is Google Hangouts. So that's become...
Why can't you?
It's too heavyweight. You know, they've added now the ability to use this for SMS. You can make phone calls with it. I mean, it's really great. You can, you know, I mean, it's a nice messaging app, but it's heavy duty, I think. And you see, I have replaced messages with the Google Hangouts because I live in the Google world, and yet I don't use it very much because there's something wrong. It's not quick and easy to use like Messages is or WhatsApp.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think the multimedia part of sending and receiving messages is a big part of it for me. It's like if I was talking to a friend yesterday and they said, "Hey, are you at home or you're out watching the game somewhere?" And it was like I just didn't feel like typing a sentence, so I just took a picture of my TV from my couch, and that was like my answer.
That's why Snapchat is so cute.
Exactly, because it's sort of like that's all they really wanted to know, and then it was like, oh, so Sarah's at home, and
Do you use We Heart It?
No.
You know what it is?
No.
Oh, I'm surprised. I thought
refresh my memory, maybe.
it's
We Heart It.
yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of it's a photo-based Facebook, basically.
Oh.
Or it's kind of like Pinterest.
Okay.
But what you do is you actually, it's kind of like Tumblr a little bit. This is a small startup, 18-person startup that has really gotten a lot of attention lately. They have iPad, iPhone. I don't think they have Android yet. I don't want to log in because it takes too long. But We Heart It. What?
Good review.
Well, you want me to show you? I'll show you.
Kind of.
Yeah, you want to see
You said
it?
it's like a visual Facebook. I mean, let's see it.
I have to log in and go.
Oh.
You log in with it. Well, here's part of the problem is, I tried to log in with Google Plus, and it said, "Well, we see that person, Leo Laporte, is a authenticated Twitter user, so you have to use Twitter."
Why?
Because they want to make sure I'm the Leo Laporte. And so they looked at Twitter and they said, "Oh, I see that Twitter says you're verified.
Yeah.
So you should use your Twitter account to say that you really are the Leo Laporte.
Okay.
And then you can use it. And that means I have to go through this. And I have two-step on Twitter. And
Okay.
anyway,
Well,
I have it on my phone. I could go over and show you. But
that's all right. No, that's.
the reason I mention it is it's photo-based. It's like Snapchat and Pinterest. And these are the hottest growing messaging / social apps out there, and I don't think it's an accident that all the communication happens via pictures.
Yeah.
So I'm backing up what you're saying, which is sending an image now is the new form of communication.
Yeah. It's true. I have a friend down in LA, and we had this whole conversation over Snapchat yesterday.
Without a word.
Right.
Now you can caption your Snapchats, right? You could put some text on there.
Yeah, you can put text on there, and you could also, I mean, I could take a video and talk.
But you don't.
Well, sometimes I do.
You just go.
Not always. I mean, Snapchat it's really just, it's almost like, how do we have a creative conversation? You know, there's my friend down in LA, and he said, "When are you going to come visit?" And it's like him walking his dog, and he like wrote that.
I think it's so cool.
And then, you know, yeah, it's just kind of
more
fun.
Emotional.
I
it's
guess,
more emotional.
A little bit.
It's words, and we discovered this very early on with email. Don't convey any nuance, any emotion. That's why we do happy faces and all that stuff.
Right.
A picture is all emotion. So if you can put a little words, a lot of picture, then it becomes a I think a much more rich communication. I don't disagree with you.
And I think because We Heard It would like to post a Facebook to you. Skip.
Oh, so you're signing up for it?
I'm signing up just because I would like to.
I think you'd like it.
I think that's why you see these, because there's a lot of people in chat rooms just saying, like, I don't message that much. But in general, being able to convey something to someone is not only easier than ever, but you can, it's actually like, it's like a richer experience than just, hello, I will be there soon, or whatever.
And I do think it's a response to the fact that, and we have this problem in our IRC, which is pure text, the fact that sometimes text doesn't convey sarcasm, humor, nuance. You don't see the smile. You have to do the little happy face. And if you don't do it, sometimes, a lot of times, messages in text are misunderstood. I think this is I think the reason people like photo messaging is a direct response to this kind of disconnect with plain text. Most of us are not good. Now, if you're a great writer, you can convey any emotion with text. Obviously, Charles Dickens didn't have emoticons. But it means you really can write, and most people don't want to take the time or have the ability to do that. Pictures, I'm walking my dog, I miss you.
All right, I'm on We Heard It. They're already only showing me portrait mode, so that's...
Now, there's a negative.
Oh, wait, no, I guess that was just for the tutorial.
It's very Pinteresty, but it's messagey, too. See, so you would send a picture of something to someone.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So Pinterest is a little bit, well, I would call Pinterest a social experience.
It is, but Pinterest, you put it on a pin board that you see or others see. This is one-to-one. So it's like a one-to-one Pinterest.
So if I'm like, those shoes are awesome.
You could just heart it, and that would be Pinteresty.
Yeah. I would sort of save it, and I can add it to a new collection.
Yeah. So that's very Pinteresty.
Shoes. Yeah.
I don't know. Play with it and let me know.
I will. I'll just say right now that because of all of the pink text and that sort of thing.
It's girly.
It does seem like it's marketed towards women because that's just what people do with pink for some
Pinterest,
unknown reason.
I know it's wrong, but
Pinterest
is lots of cats. You're going to like it for that reason alone.
Good.
And see, it uses your pictures. You can browse your camera roll. You can make friends with your Facebook, Twitter, or Google Plus circles.
I'm not positive as to why this is really any different than Pinterest. If I'm going to hang out on Pinterest anyway.
Yeah, well, that's what I want to get your input.
All right, I'm gonna play around with it.
Yeah.
It's okay. I can deal with pink. I actually like the color pink.
Some say it's the next big thing.
Pink, really?
Yeah.
We heard it. Okay. Well, it's free, so I'm gonna give it a go. We got an email from Simon who says, I'm a longtime listener, and I thought I would finally end the debate on which iPad is the best. We've sort of talked about. I don't think we've actually been arguing about it, but you like the Mini.
It's just a matter of taste.
Although you've got your Air today.
Yeah, I use the Air here, and I use the Mini at home.
Oh, okay. I thought it was backwards.
The reason I use the Air here is because we want the biggest display we can get on the screen. That's all. Yeah.
Well, you had your Mini here a couple times. Maybe I got confused. So yes, Chad had the Mini last week, and he said it's the perfect size for me. It doesn't even feel any smaller than the Air. And I said, well, that's not true. It's definitely smaller. But you have your app resized, so it's not as if you're not getting the same amount of information.
It's the same screen resolution. That's what's interesting, right?
In fact, it's slightly better, isn't it?
No, it's exactly the same.
Well, it's exactly the same. Simon says, all right, I'd like to end the debate. He has a photo that he sent us and says, definitive proof that some people prefer a full-size iPad and some like the Mini.
Is it related to the length of your hair?
They're both pretty fluffy. Oh, look at those little Persians. We've got a daintier kitty cat on the right who says, it's Mini all the way for me.
Yeah.
And Buster, I don't know your kitty's names.
I like the one on the left a lot.
It looks like Wilford Brimley, kind of.
It's Wilford Brimley.
It's one of those.
He's reincarnated.
There are certain kinds of cats that look like Wilford Brimley. It's a scientific fact.
He looks like Grumpy Garfield, says Beatmaster.
The problem is they're not very good at iPadding. They haven't even opened up their smart covers.
I prefer to use my iPad with the cover closed.
I like to guess what's going on in the game below.
You've seen you've seen all the cat viral stuff. The kitty cat playing the fishing game, and then it's got the scary face, and he flies out the door. Have you seen that one?
I haven't seen that. No, really?
It's fake, but it's good. Now, this is a good question. Would you deprecate a video that's obviously fake because it's fake? Or do you, like, in other words, do you want your cat videos to be honest, real, authentic? Or is it okay to be a little artistic with your cat videos?
I don't think that there's a general rule for cat videos. I think that they span genres,
They're all
tastes,
great.
time, space continuum. They're all great, as long as the cat is having a good time.
Here it is.
Oh, okay.
Cat's fishing. Is this it? No, this is not the one, actually.
This is the one I can find.
This is, let me show you the...
Yeah, that one just looks like, you know, that's a happy cat with an iPad app.
Yeah, but that's the cats love that app. Oh, well. I'm sure the chat room will give us a link. Nothing. Nothing happened there.
What?
Hey,
What?
look away.
Okay. All right, we're going to go on to another email that we got from Hawaii Cop. I think your name is Stan. Hi, Hawaii Cop. Sarah and Leo, check out groovebook.com. I saw it last night on Shark Tank, that show.
Oh.
And it's an app. For less than $3 a month, you get 100 pictures from your phone or your iPad, as long as you have the app, printed in a book and then mailed to you. I ordered my first book last night. They say it takes
neat.
just 7 days. So check it out. Now, of course, this is an iPhone app, but again, it's really, it's just sort of a vehicle to get a bunch of physical photos mailed to you. So I don't think it really matters whether you're doing that on your iPad or your iPhone is where your camera roll is. Now, I don't know if I want, I mean.
But it's a book.
Yeah,
it's a printed book.
It's a physical thing. So for me, I'm sort of like, I don't want all these books, but there's probably somebody, especially if you've got kids or whatever, you know, in your family who's never really going to understand how
Prints. They'll never see a print.
Yeah, but they really do matter. And if you are, I don't know, you've got a lot of family events, or maybe your kid's really active. And certain stuff.
That's different. Did you see that? They tore it right out of the book and they frame it. So that's kind of neat. So you're not only getting a book, you're getting basically prints of all those photos.
You're basically
that you could tear out.
You're going to like Wolf Camera and getting, you know, your roll of 36.
And it's only
out.
$3 for how many pictures?
It is.
Because that's kind of cool. Yeah, it's like going to the photo, like 1 hour photo, except
he says less than $3, so maybe
That's
it's
good. Yeah,
$2.99.
$2.
100 pictures for your phone.
100. Okay, see cards. Does Cards do this? The Apple Cards app. Remember they made such a big deal about their Cards app.
Didn't it go away? Didn't they just
kill it?
Didn't they just quietly say forget it? I feel like Cards doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, gee.
I think that's a pretty good.
Well,
deal.
iPhoto also has books, so it's not new to the idea of natively printing your pictures from your iPad or iPhone without having to go to your computer is not new. But I like the price.
It's pretty cool.
So every month, see, I want to tell a lot of people about this because I have a lot of friends who take a lot of pictures on their iPhone, and they're just sitting there. They have years of pictures, and it would be just once a month. You go, okay, print those 100. For $3?
Well, you've got them, or you know, give them away.
That's 3
as
cents
gifts.
a print.
Even if you were a teacher, you know, if you were a teacher and you get the school to pay for it or whatever, and it's just something that, you know, you taking pictures of your kids, you give them to a parent after school. Like people really appreciate stuff like that.
This is great.
Yeah.
So what's it called again?
It is called groovebook.com, and if you go to groovebook.com, they're very excited about being on Shark Tank, which I've never watched, but people love that show. So here you go.
Think they make money? That includes shipping and handling? I mean, that's 3 cents a print.
Well, if you do enough volume, I guess it all works out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we lose money on every book, but we make it up in volume. That's my business model.
Worked out well.
Wow.
All right, so...
I get it. I know how they make money.
How?
Because it's a monthly subscription. So I bet you they figure, people do a couple of books and then forget about it, and a year later we got $36 in the bank.
Because we're actually not spending as much on materials as people think that they'll be using.
That's exactly right. It's
well,
an interesting business
some subscription models do work for that reason often. I am guilty of that. Gym memberships.
Tons of subscriptions.
Many years of wasted money.
Yeah.
Eric in Columbia, Maryland writes in and says, this was about the game that I talked about last week. Was it my app cap? I don't remember. I think it was actually Mosaic, and I was really bad at it, and Chad laughed at me.
This is the game that you couldn't figure out.
Yeah, and he says, you missed something. The tutorial doesn't make it clear. You can shoot in all 4 directions, not just from below. By the way, Eric is not the only one who wrote in about this. Many of you did, because you were like, Sarah, you're you're doing it wrong. So, okay, I'll just go ahead and...
So you actually like a game that has shooting? Oh, it's like Tetris. Yeah, you're still doing it wrong, I bet.
Oh!
You could go all the way around.
Holy bananas.
It's a 360-degree deal.
I didn't know that. Okay, so here's how it works now. Wait, no, that's still...
So for those of you
still
listening
bad
at
at it.
home, Sarah's finally figured out that if you keep pressing button that says go around, it will go around.
Shut it.
So, and the idea is it's a Tetris-y thing. It's kind of Bejeweled meets Tetris.
It's actually...
It's a pretty good game.
Well, now that I
like
realize that it's not as
Can you play it in
impossible
portrait
to
mode, or do you
play.
have to play it?
No, you have to play it
do it that way.
in well, it is in portrait mode.
I mean, landscape, right? Yeah.
No, it's just this. But that makes way more sense.
So maybe said it's kind of like Sokoban. Kind of is like Sokoban. That's the Japanese game where you're moving beer barrels around.
Well, see, this just makes so much more sense because I'm like, cool.
This
I'm
is
not
unique.
as bad at this game as I thought I was.
to
I thought
it
I
in
was
itself.
really bad at it because I kept getting to this point where I'm like, oh, another level that I can't master. That sucks. Interesting.
Mosaic. I'm gonna get that.
It's
That looks
like
fun.
mosaic with a
Mosaic.
Q-U-E. Yeah.
A mosaic.
That's right.
Mosaic.
Well, okay. I still, for some reason, I'm like afraid to go up there.
Do a lot of things scare you?
Yes, life is terrifying. Terrifying. All right, well, that's the end of that. I don't need to give you too much airtime, Mosaic, after last week, but thank you to everybody who was like, Sarah, we want you to enjoy a game that's actually a lot more fun than
It
you
looks
think
like
it
a
is.
really good game, actually.
It's soothing. It's I always like the same kind of games. Those are the kind of games I like.
Because you're easily
I like
frightened.
games that are color coordinated and geometrical. And
Makes
because
perfect
I'm afraid
sense.
of things.
Yeah.
We got another email from Mark in Wimbledon who says, Wimbledon, there's no T in Wimbledon, who says, I discovered something by accident when I was using Safari on my iPad mini today. Most people know if you tap the plus symbol in the top right-hand corner of Safari, it's going to open a new tab, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. That makes sense. He says no surprises there. However, if you tap and hold the plus symbol, you get the option to open recently closed tabs. And he says this really comes in handy if you close something by mistake or if you just want to get back something that you were looking at earlier without going into the history section. Agreed. In fact, reopening a closed tab is something that, I mean, maybe it's not even conscious. It's like I do that maybe more than I do anything else in a browser because I have so many tabs open and I'm multitasking all the time. Are you looking in Safari right now?
There's some people who are tabs, do tabs.
I'm a tab crazy
You're a tabber.
person. I'm a tabber. Yeah.
See, I only have 2 tabs open right now. So
But why don't you click and hold the recently closed tab, the plus sign, because maybe you're like, you know, whoa. What is wrong with you?
I have to let my sticky got
That's
unstuck.
twice now in this show.
I have to wash my
You have to wash your sticky.
my stickies.
Okay. So you got recently closed tabs, and that's helpful.
Yeah. So let's do that again. I'm in Safari. I press the plus sign, and these are
Well, no,
press and hold.
Yeah. So
Press
then,
and hold.
then
recently.
Yeah, and then you've got your recently closed.
Apparently, I
ones.
don't use Safari really all that much.
Apparently not, but that's how you do it. Well, that's not. I mean,
You want a really crazy tip?
I would love one.
If you have a lot of tabs open, and you don't want to go one by one to close them all.
Yeah.
You go into incognito mode. I just saw this somewhere. I can't remember.
I think you can go private in lower left.
Lower left, go private. And the first thing it says is, you want to close all your tabs? You say yes. Then you go back out of private, and all your tabs are gone.
And that's a little unintuitive.
Totally. It's not even supposed to happen. But there's no close all tabs button. And I only had 2 tabs, no big deal. But if you had 30 tabs, that little X, it's hard to do. So click private.
I don't think I've ever closed all tabs. That
Go
sounds.
ahead, try it. Let's
That's
just see
no way. I'm not gonna do it.
You can't do it.
That would be relinquishing too much control over what I've built.
Yeah.
I can't. No, I've got to have individual tab access. Yeah, anytime even if Chrome or something quits unexpectedly, it's like my greatest fear is that the tabs won't all open again the same way. And I'll forget that I had some
Oh, you're seriously tab addicted.
I have a tab issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's okay.
Wow.
I'm proud of it. It's fine.
It's so interesting because I'm not that kind of person, and it tends to be a lot of techies. Steve Gibson. Oh yeah, I got 300 tabs open on the desktop, but still, there's something about people love tabs.
I don't necessarily love them. It's just the only way I can manage things.
Tabs happen.
Tabs happen.
It's my new
tabs
bumper
need to
sticker.
Happen. If you close all tabs, I might as well just throw in the towel because I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I can't start over.
Would somebody please send me a tabs happen bumper sticker?
Tangled web we weave on mobile browsers. All right, so I think it's enough emails for one show. I could keep going, but
you guys are great, though. Thank you for emailing.
We love you. In
Great
fact,
stuff.
if you want to write us, it could be an app suggestion, or it's always nice when someone says, "Hey, Sarah, you were doing it wrong, and here's how you actually could enjoy that app that you tried to show off." That's also very helpful because I don't want to be giving people bad advice. iPad Today at twit.tv. Our voicemail number is 757-504-IPAD. You can send us a video. You could tweet at Leo and I, whatever you want to do. We're around. But thanks to everybody who helps us build our show each week. So, Leo.
Is it time to wear a funny hat?
It is. It is. And I like mine a lot.
You look great. And I thought we should do a Wimbledon thing.
You did?
Yeah.
Without even knowing that we got an email from
Wimbledon?
Wimbledon?
Isn't that amazing? Yeah.
That's kind of amazing because that's not
thought,
a common place that I'm getting email from.
We're watching tennis on the grass, and I'm going to wear my Wimbledon hat.
And you match you, and I match me.
I thought long and hard.
You did.
About these hats.
I'm pretty excited. I'm a smooth criminal.
I think more people should wear lavender hats, don't you?
That's not lavender. That's a pewter.
Pardon me.
Yeah, I don't want you to embarrass yourself by calling that lavender because it isn't.
Pewter?
Yeah, that's a pewter. Definitely. It's a dandy hat. You're a real dandy guy. You're just an old dandy. I don't really know how to use that word well. I know it's an old-fashioned word.
Jim Dandy, I believe, is the full...
I see. Yes. Jim Dandy. Something for the olds. Just bring it...
Let's all go to Denny's Early Bird and have some supper.
If you might be a newcomer to iPad Today, you might wonder why there are hats at the end of the show. Leo and I called them our app caps.
Woo!
Get it?
Yeah.
And we call this section of the show the App Cap Awards, and it's where we each choose an app that we think that you will love, and we love it too. I will start off with an app from the Natural History Museum.
Oh, you're going intellectual on me now.
I am. Now, you might say, really? It sounds kind of boring, but it's not. It's actually really cool. Now, where is it?
I grew up
open
there.
Tabs. Here we go.
This is the one in New York?
This particular one is the one that's in London.
Oh, London.
On Cromwell Road.
Hello.
Ooh, I know.
Jolly
Down
good.
indeed. Ho, ho, ho. But there are obviously history museums all over the world. But it tells you,
That's Chuck Darwin.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or is it George Bernard Shaw? It's somebody with a big beard. I think it's Chuck Darwin.
Probably.
That'd be my
That
guess.
makes sense, history and all.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's just a little bit of information about the museum. But what you're doing is you're basically going on a virtual tour of stuff that's on display in the museum. We've showed off museum apps in the past on iPad Today, and I actually think that they work really well because it's trying to, give you the feeling of being there, or at least getting all the same information. Okay, so let's say that Ooh, night mode, cool. I've hovered over an American mastodon, and it's like, well, I'm kind of interested in this.
That's so cool.
That's kind of cool.
Look at
Well,
that.
what else can I learn about you? So over here in the left-hand navigation, I can go ahead and click, oh, the American mastodon is a Mammoth americanum. That's the actual name. We've got a variety of topics, like, why don't they exist anymore? Because this is an extinct animal. What the height was in relation to a human, also helpful. That's, again, something that's quite terrifying.
Yes.
You don't want that guy running after you.
But no humans and mastodons coexisted, I should point that out.
The mastodon was rendered extinct 13,000 years ago.
Oh, so they did. Okay, so they did. I take it back.
Had some cave people and mastodons making it rain.
I thought
together.
they were talking woolly mammoth, but no, that's a mastodon.
In 1705, a Dutch farmer discovered a tooth the size of a man's fist as he worked in his land in the Hudson River Valley in New York City. I love this stuff. I mean, the history of how we just even knew that these animals were around that's part of the fun.
Yeah.
So this is just, it's just great. I mean, you're in full info mode. You've got all of these like just,
that is neat.
Yeah,
That's fun.
you've got all this cool stuff, and I will say that
Why go to London when you can?
exactly, nothing beats being at a museum. That's for sure. I'm not saying this is a different experience, but I think sometimes when you're in, especially you're in a big building, a big hall, you're looking at bones. Whoa! I tend to not necessarily read all of the information that's on plaques that are around, because it's like you're overwhelmed with being there.
Right.
I actually feel like I learn more when I'm in more of like a controlled environment, like an iPad app. If
Why?
you're actually
You're saying don't go to the museum to read the plaques.
Well,
Get the app.
I feel like for me.
Wouldn't it be cool, and this is only a moment away,
What?
if they tied this app to iBeacon, and then when you went to the museum, the app would automatically go to that page? Wouldn't that be cool?
I think.
Because that's the future.
Yeah,
because
right now you can
Well, that's a pretty museum.
Isn't that neat? Yeah, you have sort of a virtual. Whoa, what do you got there?
Well, they're just showing the relative sizes of different creatures.
Yeah, that's cool though. But this is nice. So this is, if you were like, oh wait, I really want to see that mastodon. Where in the museum is it? This helps you a bit. But yeah, it's not exactly the same as what you're talking about. Although that whole iBeacon technology is, it's the future for a lot of this stuff. There are museum apps that are designed to hook up to computers once you're there, so that
and you
they'll
enter
give
in the
information.
number or
Yeah,
something like
that
that.
sort of
But it's
thing.
nice if it would just happen automatically.
So this is,
I
again,
bet you that's why they're doing this, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a museum alternative, certainly, but it's not supposed to keep you out of the museum. I mean, they wouldn't give you,
You know
an
what
app
that
otherwise.
is? That's a dodo bird.
It's a dodo
Yeah,
bird.
that became extinct about 100 years ago.
I mean, look how adorable they are. I want to see.
Aren't they cute? Well, you'll never get to see one. They shot them. They killed them all.
Well,
they're flightless. That's why it was easy.
I know, little
it's sad.
flightless birds. Let's read about them.
Read about the dodo.
The dodo was the Rhaphis cucullatus.
Aha.
First encounters, and then you got all these topics. I could go on forever. This is a $4.99 app, $4.99. It's NHM Alive. That is how you'll find it in the App Store, and it's new.
Oh, and you got David Attenborough doing the narration.
Yeah,
Now
I didn't even get
cooking.
into any of that stuff.
Now you're talking.
Didn't even get into any of that stuff. But it's really
neat.
great if you like this sort of thing, and who wouldn't?
I
then
would.
learn a little bit about all the animals that you've killed.
The passenger pigeon, the dodo, the American bison.
So,
Yes.
I can remember a time, because I'm old, when we didn't know if there were any other planets in the universe. We thought we couldn't tell. We figured there probably are, but the only planets we knew about were our own solar system planets. Mars, Jupiter, Venus, all of that. Earth. But in 1992, thanks to advanced telescopy, is that a word? We finally discovered the first exoplanets. That is, planets outside of our solar system. And this was very, very exciting. I remember talking to Seth Shostak of SETI, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, pre-1992, and he said, we were pretty sure there must be exoplanets, but if you don't prove that they exist, you cannot prove that life exists, because life for sure doesn't exist on a star. You need a planet. Well, now there are well over 1,000 exoplanets, and thanks to Kepler, we've got even more all the time. And this is an app John Slanina showed me yesterday. I got so excited about it. It's called Exoplanet, and every time a new exoplanet is discovered, it'll let you know. It says, hey, here's some excitement. There's a new exoplanet. Look at all of these. Some of these discovered by Kepler are indicated with Kepler. It shows how the planet was discovered.
Wow.
It tells you a little bit about it. Now, notice the ad. So it's free, but there are in-app purchases. The first one you're going to want to do probably is the $1.99 to get rid of the ads. Okay?
Yeah, because that ad's really
That's
sort of right in
annoying,
the middle of your
yeah.
screen.
So you gotta do this. This shows, by the way, other planets that we know about in the system. You can favorite planets. This particular planet is 24.6 parsecs. That is 4.72 to 10 to the 14th miles away. It's a bunch of marathons, or 80 light years. There's some fun stuff in here, but here's the funnest of them all. If you have, and you've heard me talk about my Hue lights. I don't want to get push. If this weren't my iPad today, I'd probably turn on the push, because there's nothing better than getting a push notification at 3 in the morning.
Exoplanet.
There's a new planet.
Yeah.
We found a new planet. So turn on the push notifications. There is an interesting ad on.
Because nobody would want to sleep through that.
That's
at 3
exciting.
a.m. It is. It's David Prager. We know, friend of.
Is he
Twit.
into this?
He loves space so much.
Well,
he would love this app.
So
more
you've
than
heard me talk about the Hue light bulbs. Those are the Philips light bulbs that I've spent a lot of money on. You get the starter kit for a couple $100, and it gives you 3 light bulbs, and then every light bulb $60. And these are RGB light bulbs. They can be any color, right? And so I set it for sunset at sunset, or it wakes me up gradually in the morning with the sun coming up and getting bluer and whatever. And it's fun. They're cool. Exoplanet has, and this is not a paid add-on, this is part of the free thing. It will turn your Hue lights, when there's an exoplanet discovered, to what it would look like, what the sunlight would look like on that planet. You are living on that planet with the color of the star from that.
Wow. Yeah, this is very exciting for you. To think of being on that exoplanet and what the color of the sky would be.
I'm there right now. This is Betelgeuse 63491. Everything looks green.
Cool. How do you get there? Oh, wait, you can't.
You can't.
No.
No, I wish we could.
Well.
So there are some in-app purchases. You can add galaxies. Right now, we just get the Milky Way. Hey, that to me, that's my galaxy. That's
Sure.
where I live.
We're fine with that.
I want to know about my homeboy exoplanets.
Sure.
But if you want to know about other exoplanets, you can do that.
you're
Kepler objects of interest, unconfirmed planets. If you buy their Kepler app, that's free. Remove ads, the first thing I do. And you can also add asteroids and so forth. So thank you, John Slanina, for showing me this. It's a little geeky, it's a little weird, but boy, is it kind of fun. And if you want to get a kid excited about space, it's stuff like this that will really, really do it. Where am I in the Milky Way? I'm right there. I'm right in the middle of that.
Don't get too close to the sun.
Whoa.
You know what happens then.
This is
That's
cool. As we
really
zoom
neat.
in, we're
Yeah.
seeing the other exoplanets as we zoom by them, headed for our little place. Not many exoplanets right here.
There's too many exoplanets. I'm worried that we're going to have some sort of a collision.
This is cool. You can see where Voyager is. Pioneer. There's Voyager. It's already outside of our solar system, more than 100 astronomical units out.
The
You can
heck?
zoom in. This is so cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
This is really neat. Exoplanet. Free.
Poor little Pluto.
Free.
Poor little Pluto.
Free. And you can see what it's like. I don't know if you can see what it's like on Pluto.
Out in the cold. I bet it's very cold.
Oh, it's freezing.
Very cold. Bring your mittens. Gonna go to Pluto. Not a real planet anymore. It's like all of that, all of the learning from school, that
It sticks in there.
drew all the it's
And-
like
and
I'm
now you
just
can
like,
just take a chunk
and
out.
scientists just go, you know what, we were wrong. Just
don't
forget
want it.
all that stuff.
And if you're into astronomy, I'm going to throw in something that Serenity Caldwell mentioned on MacBreak Weekly last week. It's called Sky Guide. And she likes this because it's really pretty. You look at the sky and you can point it to
I
your
like Sky Guide,
Yeah,
too.
it's really beautiful. So that's where we are. That's what we're seeing if it were dark. Aldebaran and Taurus and so forth. And it's pretty too because it shows you the constellations. A lot of times if you're with a kid and you say, that's Pegasus, and they go, well, no, that's actually a square with some stars. And they go, no, see, it looks like a horse if you have some imagination.
Yeah, I never really thought the dippers looked like dippers,
No.
or that was always a little bit like, well, okay, it looks like a square,
I
sort of.
love this stuff.
But it's neat, yes. It's absolutely very, very
Cygnus,
cool.
the swan.
Sky Guide $199 by the
Yeah, just threw that in as a bonus round.
I
Thank you
like it.
To John Slanina and Serenity Caldwell, two great picks.
Excellent. Well, with that beautiful, I feel like I'm like meditating, or I was in a spa.
Isn't that
or
pretty?
something. Yeah, it was nice.
That's nice, kind of that Vangelis music, like in your Maestro or whatever that was you were playing.
The Mosaic.
Mosaic.
Mosaic, $199 for Sky Guide.
Yeah.
That's the end of our show. I know that's upsetting to you, but you don't want to put too much information in a show because then you wouldn't be able to handle it.
This was a
And we know that
huge,
you have limits.
jam-packed
Jam-packed with stuff.
episode.
Yeah. And Mondays will be like this going forward as well. So thanks everybody for watching iPad Today. We'll see you. Done with your coffee? Yeah.
He's looking at you, kid.
I think you're better before lunch. I think I really lucked out on this.
I'm telling you. You know what's coming up a little later on Triangulation, about half an hour from now? Brad Stone will be our guest talking about his book, The Everything Store, his book about Amazon, which is a great read.
Excellent. So everybody who's watching live, just don't turn the stream off because we've got other stuff coming up today. Everybody else, thanks for watching and subscribing and telling friends. And if you're audio listeners, we love you too. See you next week on iPad Today.